Welcome one, welcome all to episode 197 of the Xbox Expansion Pass, recorded on Saturday, September 30th, 2023. I am your host, Lohr, the InsipidGhost, and I am joined today by my co-host, the intrepid Captain Logun. And in this episode, we start off and react to yet another round of massive layoffs in the gaming industry, and we see a surprise milestone for major Xbox IP. Of course, we're set for another major month of AAA releases in the month of October. It is going to be a good one, and we hope you enjoy the show. Logun, we like to start the show by offering words of kindness to those who have made our gaming weeks better. But first, how are you, my friend?
Good. It's been a busy week for me, just in general. So I feel like of all the weeks that we've had like a bunch of stuff going on, there's a bunch of stuff that I can't talk about that I've been working on.
You mean like game related or personal related?
Game related. So
Gotcha.
like there's stuff that we're under embargo for that we just can't talk about yet, that I'm like trying to get into and understand and just doing research.
People can know that we're playing it though, right?
Yes.
Okay, you can say that then. All right, say that.
Yeah, we're working on Forza coverage.
Yeah. Yes. Okay.
We had review codes provided to us by Xbox. It was very kind of them to do so. And yeah, we'll be able to talk about that more next week. And I think we're going to try and work on getting a special guest because Luke, I think you're going to be gone next week, right?
Yep, I'll be gone next week for. I want to be. There's an event for my wife that is solemn, and so I want to be there in support of her. So we'll be traveling, quick thing, and then turn around traveling. So it's a lot of traveling next weekend. But I'll be gone all weekend and unable to record, which stinks that I'll miss the Forza coverage. But we've got a super amazing sub in, especially for Forza, Mr. Greg Seward. He's my words of kindness this week. He's coming in from Player One Podcast, agreed to help us with Forza coverage. He is an expert when it comes to racing games. Of course, he's an industry veteran, and then he worked at EGM, and worked on reviewing games nonstop. But he regularly plays simulation racing games like Gran Turismo. He has been in Forza.
Or iRacing? iRacing.
Whatever that one is.
Yeah, I can't remember what it is.
It's like the most niche but real, like, huge community for racing. So I couldn't imagine a more perfect guest to sub in and help us with Forza coverage, because like he will know it far better than me, who's like go stop and follow the driving line kind of things.
Yeah.
If there is a driving line in Forza Motorsport, which I can't say one way or another, go
watch the videos of it. You might figure it out on your own.
You might, but there is a go and stop button. I guess I'll break embargo for that one thing.
Ooh,
I know,
dangerous.
Pretty rough. Pretty
dangerous.
Rough. Yeah, sources allegedly. But yeah, we're playing Forza coverage. That's fun. Yep. It's keeping us busy. Go ahead. What was the rest of your week?
Oh, I don't even remember what it was. I just know that I've been covering. I've been working on that. That feels.
Yeah, well, no, it's been a lot. And like, seriously, the funny thing is, I think both of our weeks mine's been very busy work side, because like these months are my busy months. We know that. But like Crew Motorfest, Forza, we at the time of this recording, Assassin's Creed has not been given to us. We may or may not land that one. Okay. Yeah. Like somebody asked us on Twitter or Threads, I can't remember. If was it Twitter, if we were playing, I think it was Lies of P. And it's like, no, we don't, like, we can't even catch our breath ahead of that. And then there's Lords of the Fallen in there. Then you've got Alan Wake on its way, Spider-Man, if you're playing that, Sonic Superstars. Like, October is wild, and I want to do right by the games that we have for coverage as it is. Yeah. So like anything I don't get in this month for coverage, it's just like, okay, that's fine. Yeah, I'll get there. I haven't even touched Phantom Liberty. This gamers are so spoiled for choice in this month. Game Pass subscribers are spoiled for choice in this month. We are fortunate that we get to cover some of this stuff. But I just don't have the bandwidth, and I don't think you do either, to go past a certain threshold.
Yeah, no, it's literally been like Starfield preview to Cyberpunk preview to Forza preview. Like Cocoon just came out on Game Pass yesterday. Like that's gonna be an indie darling. I think that should be really good. There's so much, dude. Like I've been trying to find time to play games. It's Sea of Thieves community weekend. So like this morning I saw the tweet go out for like a chest to go dig up on an island on all the servers, and I went and dug it up, and I was like really happy because it's one of the hardest chests to get a hold of that I still have commendations to work on for. So and it's like double golden, double glory. Like it's all weekend. So it's just, there's so much going on right now. There's Cyberpunk Twitch drops, by the way. Ooh. If you want new United States gear, like, and it looks good too. There's like there are a couple guns and a bunch of armor and stuff, like cosmetics and whatnot. And it's like those are going right now. So there's a lot, man. This is a little too much. And we even saw some studios say that they were going to delay to later on because it's just there's so much.
If they can, they should. Like I've got 2 indie games sitting in my inbox that I've not had a chance to even potentially consider because it's just too crowded, and that's a shame. Like this month is too crowded, and multiple games have moved, right? Like as they should. I think, because when you've got games the caliber of Phantom Liberty, Spider-Man, Alan Wake 2, which for all intents and purposes the previews look incredible. There's a new Mario game, and for some reason Sonic the Hedgehog is doing their new 2D game like within a week. Like
I know
it's just some strange choices for October, strange choices for October. And in a month or a news week where we're going to be talking about studios closing and people losing their jobs, I feel like in mass, zoomed out from a distance, it feels like, well, if some better choices were made, or some more decisions could be altered. And I think about that with Immortals of Avium. That's been my go-to frustration point, and that's a good game. Whether you think it's good or great, it's a game that was deserving of a better gameplay, and they've got an update coming.
So they just, it was FSR for PC. They just announced they're working on, which is cool.
Yep. And I can say now, like, I knew that was happening. They've got a good update because originally we were going to do our interview to time with that update. And I do not know if that's happening. And I don't want to be the guy that's like poking them and like, hey, you just lost half your team. What's up? Like, I don't want to do that.
Yeah, things have probably slowed down as far as timeline goes for that. Right. So yeah. Oh man.
I said my words. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No. Go for it, dude.
Well, I was gonna say, I said my words of kindness. Greg Seward, I'm really excited he's coming on XCP. I'm a big fan of him personally and of P1P, and his knowledge on racing is just stoked. So I'm just excited for him to help us with Forza coverage. But I was curious who your words of kindness were.
For this week, I wanted to shout out PTK Blam.
I love Blam.
They reached out, and he wanted to see if I could be able to jump on for the Shop podcast today. And awesome. So I'm going to be recording with them. That'll be later today. It'll go out. It'll be live, but it'll go out on feeds afterwards, I'm sure. So looking forward to talking to them again. I had a really good time last time. And just, looking forward to talking shop with them.
That is fantastic. I love PTK Blam. He's just one of those amazing people in the community. The Shop podcast is fun. They just have a great community, Centurion Fuzzy. It's awesome. So I love them. That's fantastic.
Yeah, looking forward to that.
Logan, we had a really big week for Patreon coverage. We're doing our I guess we would call it a fundraiser for Extra Life. And we had 2-3 people now at the time of this recording. One came in while you were talking.
Wow.
That got us to our goal. I was hoping to get us to $175 for Extra Life. So because all of that money for the month of September for Patreon is being donated to Extra Life on our sister podcast. I'll divvy up that money for their particular drives that they're doing in October. So I'll be able to shift all that money over. And we have hit it as of 30 seconds ago, which is fantastic. I want to give shout outs to Waka Butler, John, who subscribed at tier 2, which is absolutely incredible. Can't thank you enough for helping us there. We saw Rob Foley. He just subscribed a moment ago at tier 2. Rob Frawley the second, subscribing at tier 2. He is always in our social feeds, which is amazing. Can't thank Rob enough there. And then Red Beast, incredible Adam there. He upped his Patreon from $5 to $10, went from tier 2 to 3. So we now as XEP are going to be able to donate $175 to Extra Life. I'm going to throw in 25 of my own to get it to a nice 200 across our sister podcast. So I'm so grateful to all of our patrons across all 3 tiers for helping us get there, and for John, Adam, and Rob for bumping us into that special territory for the month of September. I've said this before, it's always appreciated, never expected. And if anybody needs to drop down next month, you were just helping for the fundraiser, I appreciate you and thank you. That was amazing. That was a great feeling.
That
we
is
get to
really
do that
cool.
as a community.
I'm really glad to hear that.
Yeah, it's a nice win. If you are doing Extra Life fundraisers and we can help spread the word or share with our community, please feel free to DM Logan or myself, message us on Discord or X if that's working at the time. Let us know, because we want to help raise money for Extra Life in our own way as well. So there you go.
I'll tell you what, just check the old bank account. I'll toss 50 into that. We'll make it a 250.
Hot darn, look at us go. Look at us go. This is fantastic. So we're going to divvy up $250 across our sister shows. And of course, we'll let our community know where those monies are going in the month of October when we see those drives happening. So there we go. All right.
Love to see
fantastic. It. Me too. Oh, my day is made, buddy. My day is made. So from migraine to victory, here we are. Logan, we have our tier 2 and 3 shoutouts, which have new names. And I'm stoked for that. I need to put Waka Butler in there. What's such a cool name? All right. It's your week to read, though.
Ooh. I know. Well, I'm going to try and do justice. I know there's one I'm probably going to try and I'm probably going to trip up on. So apologies in advance. But here we go. So thank you again to the tier 2 and tier 3 patrons. You guys are helping make this happen. I really appreciate it. Head over to patreon.com/Xbox expansion pass to consider, donating, see if this content's worth supporting Luke for, which I do, because I want to make sure that he knows that I appreciate all the stuff he does for me. So thank you to Waka Butler, Rob Frawley, Tao Zochi, Trickster, Robbie Bobby Miller, Silent Cypher, Xbox Skittle, Steel Rain, Matto1606, Randall Thor 19, Silkenit, Rick Gaffney, African, aka Charles Jones, Game Positive, Jam Pack Sam, Matt Valdez, Neo Prime 33, Rick Davis, Red Beast, Xbox Mike 29, the Lord Sir Master James Suddy, Brendan Myers, aka The Winter Gamer, Sony's VP of Marketing Kevin Butler, Clint Coombs, DJ Hero, and Dano12. Thank you all again so much for your support. Really appreciate it. And, Luke, I got to say, Kevin Butler, standout gentleman, ended up actually jumping in with me to do some State of Decay 2 the other day.
Kevin did?
Yeah.
Oh, that's fantastic.
So we did some, I remember we were talking about it in the Discord, but it's been a while and I didn't even think to like call that out. But the Patreon Discord is like one of my favorites right now, because everyone in there is just awesome people. And it's been really fun to get to like play with some new folks that I've never gotten to play with before.
I cannot agree more. It's one of those weird things where like there's a $3 barrier to entry on our Discord, but in that small bit, it lets people. Yes?
Not Kevin Butler. I'm sorry, Butch. Sorry, Butch.
Okay, yeah, you said Butch last week. You mentioned it last week. But I was like, that's why I was surprised about Kevin. But and shout out to Butch because he is awesome. But I love that small little bit means that people that are in our community want to be there.
Yeah.
And we're able to, they're willing to support the show, but also like every morning there's a good morning XCP or good morning fam or et cetera, et cetera. It's the best. The gifts. The gifts are
the GIF is great.
Yep. So
I love it.
Yeah, me too, man. Me too. Well, look, dude, there's a lot of gaming news. We've alluded to a lot of it. Forza codes are out in the wild. Coverage is being made by content creators, influencers alike. Reviews are in progress. I'm excited for us to have our coverage of that. That's Xbox's fourth IP this year, fifth IP this year. You got Hi-Fi Rush, Minecraft Legends, Redfall, Starfield, and then Forza. So their fifth game of the year, certainly going to be impactful for a lot of reasons. I'm really curious to see kind of the bump in the interest level. I'm curious how it compares to Starfield. I'll be really fascinated to see where it charts on Steam, if we see console sales spike again, if there's Game of the Year conversations for it or not, because Forza Horizon 5 always felt overlooked despite getting some Game of the Year conversations surrounding it. I'm just curious to see how Forza Motorsport is reacted to, because sim and arcade are different. Plus, you had the Crew Motorfest not too long ago, which is a game I recommend to everybody. Crew Motorfest is amazing. I so enjoy that game. So I'm really interested to see kind of how it goes. But all that to say, the industry got some weird news this past week. And I want to start with Jim Ryan retiring as CEO and the president of Sony. To me, this is interesting, but not unexpected. And that might sound potentially inflammatory, but I don't think it is. PlayStation has had a timeline of roughly 5 years for its CEOs as they've cycled out personalities. And while I know that many people will condemn Jim Ryan or celebrate Jim Ryan based on their own personal views, because we're an Xbox show, I think it's interesting because it's the major competitor to Microsoft. And Xbox, since Phil Spencer's arrival, has had multiple figureheads that were notable and personality driven, as well as capable driven. We've seen Sarah Bond step into a number of roles. Major Nelson recently stepped down. And I'm curious, with Jim Ryan leaving, Logan, do you feel as I do, though, that while he certainly took Sean Layden's PlayStation to the next level with PS5, maybe Jim Ryan's impact wasn't as positive as it could have been, given the quality of PlayStation exclusives?
Oh, my buddy, I love you, but I'm going to be brutally honest. I'm glad that dude is gone. He's a good businessman. He took the PS4 and he really just turned that into like a mainstay in houses the way the PS2 did. But never have I seen a company go through so many like stepping on rakes in the middle of a yard for easy stuff, like $10 easy stuff. Like the difference between a next gen and a last gen game version, director's cuts from for games that are exclusives, that like why is this a director's cut? The director was Hideo Kojima. He put out the version he wanted. Why is he does even so? Jim Ryan, I'm glad that he's been with SIE for like 30 years. He's been in the CEO position for a good while. He's not a gamer, man. Like he's a business guy. And, for someone running a company as a CEO, you want a business guy. Having Phil Spencer work his way from game development to CEO it's an abnormality, like Reggie Fils-Aimé, one of the best CEOs Nintendo's ever had. Dude was working for like Pepsi or something beforehand. And it was like, he was a gamer, but he wasn't like a dyed in the wool, raised in the industry, cut from the cloth of developers kind of CEO, like person. And that's fine. But I'm genuinely hoping that whoever takes over after the interim period between Jim leaving and whoever's next, we get someone who knows how to talk to the audience. I desperately want Sony fans to feel like they are heard from their leader, and everyone has their reasons for picking the consoles that they do, or you just pick all of them, and it doesn't feel like they've had a champion in their corner. in the boxing match that is the console competition for market share. And it's just, I mean, I could get nasty about it, but the dude did his job. He did it really, really well. You can't fault him for that. I just don't think that he was doing anything that was going to make consumers happy. And as a consumer, that's the most important thing to me.
I think PlayStation is deserving of someone that matches the quality of their exclusives. And I genuinely feel like Jim Ryan rode the coattails of a brilliant Sony created by Sean Layden, with a lot of single player driven games. And right now we're seeing the industry contract as a lot of multiplayer live service driven games are closing, canceling, shutting down from major developers. And it feels like Jim Ryan was really pushing the live service element of Sony and chasing Xbox's success. Hear my words here, in the live service realm with games like Grounded, Sea of Thieves, Minecraft. But they had the winning formula already in their single player, and it should have been a more 70-30 split single player to live service, but he's kind of flipped it to where a lot of the projects upcoming for Sony seem to be multiplayer driven, which scares me, or sequel driven, again, which scares me for long term, right? Like in short term, I'm having a blast. I'm so excited for Spider-Man 2. Sony's done such a wonderful job with its exclusives, but we're seeing the industry contract in live service, and Jim Ryan doesn't seem like he was one that was motivated to tell the truth to consumers. We believe in generations and several other just like odd choices of wording and phrases. You can look at the ABK interactions that he had surrounding that, which just felt disingenuous. And I hate that, because if you're going to be the leader for this incredible game making studio that impacts the entire industry, especially Xbox, I want it to be somebody that is relatable and equatable. I can't imagine many other leaders that could have guided Xbox through the darkest periods of the Xbox One generation if they weren't somebody that the audience identified and felt with, and Phil Spencer. And already we see Spencer laying the grounds for others to take his place, be approachable, be exciting. We're seeing the grounds laid for more single player content out of Xbox, mimicking Sony's success rate while still adjusting for the future. I want competitive elements between the two. And somehow, despite all the success PlayStation has had, it feels like Jim Ryan leaving is a win for PlayStation gamers and gamers in general. And so I'm glad to see this happening. With respect to his success, I don't think he was good for games. I don't think he was good for the industry. And so I'm glad that he is leaving. Glad that it's not like under some terrible, like he was beating the people, making them sleep under their desk type of moments, no Elon Musk level terrorist.
As we know.
As far as we know.
Oh man, don't bring up his name. I don't need to hear Elon's name today.
You told me that you were gonna live and die by what he does. No,
oh my God.
So, I'm glad this is happening, because I hope that as the industry ebbs and flows, we see more gamer friendly actions from PlayStation, because gamer friendly actions from PlayStation will have an impact on the rest of the industry. And we've seen Xbox, because they're in third place, do gamer friendly stuff that doesn't seem to impact the industry nearly as impactfully. So I'm curious to see kind of how that goes. But I am glad that Jim Ryan is stepping away. I'm glad that we're going to get new blood. I think there are a lot of voices that could Herman Holst, Shuhei Yoshida. I know they had somebody on stage for their recent State of Play that might be worthwhile. Cheers to that. I just hope it's somebody that makes the gaming industry better.
Yeah, the talking head that they had for that State of Play, I can't remember her name, but she was great. She sounded like she understood what the assignment was, so I was definitely happy about that. Yeah, Herman Holst is a great opportunity there, because he's got a great personality. He seems very social. And you this happens, man. This happens everywhere. Like I was talking to my wife, and she's having similar issue with her new supervisor. Like her last supervisor was super personable, super kind, really good person as far as like reaching out and talking to people and being, like a personality on top of a supervisor. You can do both. And I hope that happens for Sony, because they need someone. They need someone to be there, to be like the person who's going to really kind of make sense of what the future of that generation is going to be, especially knowing that we're going to be getting new hardware soon. The hardware choices that they've made this generation are boggling. You know, the I can't even think of what the name is. The Portal. The Portal's weird.
Portal.
Yeah, the PSP.
Yeah, whatever it is. Just strange stuff, man.
Yeah, strange stuff overall. It's just really odd that they're going that route. So I'm hoping whoever comes in has a clear understanding of like where they should go with the market and try and innovate as opposed to just replicate the bare min.
Agreed. And PlayStation fans had a rough week given that hack and stuff, and like that's not something to celebrate. No Xbox show or group should be celebrating. That sucks. And that happens in technology driven world. So PlayStation needs a win, and I think it's on its way with Spider-Man. You know, I'm okay with that. Xbox is definitely doing well. They had a really cool milestone hit by a major Xbox IP with Minecraft. This past week, I thought this was really neat. 25 million players have played Minecraft Dungeons. And to be clear, that's Dungeons, not Legends, which is the Legends, the one that came out this year. Dungeons was the one that came out, I want to say pandemic time, 21, I believe.
It's the Diablo-like.
Yeah, the Diablo-like. I really liked that game. I thought it was criminally underserved with Xbox crossover IP, which I'm going to talk about in a moment. But 25 million players across Switch, PS4, PC, Xbox One, Series X, and S. It had a 7 out of 10, which is just, that's just Xbox only makes 7 out of 10s at this point.
I was just thinking about that. Can I deviate, do a quick little detour real quick?
Yeah, I was making a joke, but you're I feel like you got a good satiant point coming. Bring it.
No, it's interesting to me because this year has been lots of 8s, in critically like welcomed 8s, and just to call out, like Hi-Fi Rush is an 89. It's like a smidgen below a 9, and that was a shadow drop this year. Redfall being the outlier here. Starfield's in the high 80s, and I'm pretty sure Forza is probably going to be a 9. If I had to guess.
I feel like games that are not niche have a hard time breaking that 90 barrier. Niche games, I feel like you can do it, right? Like this is a simulation racing. This is simulation flying. This is a graphic visual novel. Like within a niche, it's easier to get, I think, above a 90 because the assignment is more easily understood. But when you want broad appeal, it's much harder to break that 90 barrier, I think.
Yep.
Very few games do that have broad appeal.
But mostly to say that this year, with Redfall being the exception, and we understand why that's the case. This year for Xbox has been a higher average than most of what we've seen in the past, which is crazy because the stuff that we've had lately this generation has actually been really good content too.
They had a great 2021. They had the consoles launch in late 2020. Great 2021 with Halo and Forza Horizon. Minecraft Dungeons was in that window. And 2022 is the outlier. Yeah. And it feels like this generation is marked by 2022. For Xbox, which is a shame because Game Pass was well served. Live service was well served for Xbox in that window. But that 1 year of no exclusives really has proven fatal to the mindset, the mind share that Xbox commanded.
Wasn't Illuminati? Wasn't that out in 2022?
I mean, maybe, but are you thinking of Pentiment?
Or Pentiment? Yeah, I'm sorry.
You're thinking of Pentiment.
Like 2 games that came out that were like the same.
Yeah, they were very similar. I understand exactly why, and like the fact that I knew what you were talking about is telling of how similar they were.
Pentiment came out in 2022, which was very much like a Grounded. But I mean, that was a game that a lot of folks they didn't like, those that played it and understood like the play style and were okay getting beyond the art direction of it. Really, really spoke highly of that. I'm trying to grab the Open Critic, but yeah, that was a 2022 launch.
And that's such a niche game. I think it accidentally proves my point about.
Oh yeah, no, you're not. Yeah, you're not wrong. But yeah, that was an 86 on on Open Critic. But yeah, mostly eights this generation.
Xbox has really had a good run, but the lack of pure AAA between Forza and Halo, and then now Starfield, really did do a damage for it. But I mean, I maintain Starfield is my game of the year at present, and it's the most 8 out of 10 game of the year ever.
Yeah.
I'm set to roll credits on Starfield today. I think I anticipate doing that today, so we can do our spoiler cast for Xbox wrap up if you want to do that. So
Okay.
that would be fun, because we did a great intro to Starfield on our last Xbox wrap up, which will go live for everybody on YouTube this week. So we could do a spoiler cast there. But
That'd be cool.
I want to loop back to a concept and an idea that I think Minecraft is, in the wake of 25 million, and they're not shutting down, but they're no longer going to be updating Minecraft Dungeons. I think Microsoft has been looking to diversify the Minecraft IP with Legends, with Dungeons, with mobile, trying to figure out what to do with it to let it serve more. And I heard a YouTuber that I enjoy, whose name escapes me in this one moment, just because I think my head hurts. But he called Minecraft the Mario for Xbox. And not in terms of gameplay style, but in terms of like IP recognition, the ability to diversify gameplay with the IP. And I really like that analogy. And I think that Xbox is in need of continued diversity with Minecraft. And I think they also failed Minecraft Dungeons and Legends by not doing crossover content. Like, it is surprising to me we didn't see Master Chief in Dungeons with special armor and abilities, Master Chief, or some leader from other
Plasma
Xbox.
Sword.
Plasma Sword, yeah, would have been great. It's seeing some heroes from the Xbox IP in Minecraft Legends would have been so appropriate. I think Xbox in general needs to do more crossover within its IP, cross promotional stuff. I've said for a long time there should be an island in Sea of Thieves with zombies on it, and like an homage to State of Decay. I think there should be more.
We did get State of Decay content.
You got liveries and such,
Yeah.
but I'm saying there should be like more homages to Xbox IP within Xbox IP. We had those two fantastic and beautiful Spartan armors in Gears 5.
Yeah.
Why not more? Where was the rest of Noble Team? Why wasn't Chief in there? Why not get Gears armors in Halo Infinite, where we've got these samurai and Tenra and stuff? Like, there are so many potential elements to see other IP. I think Minecraft is a wonderful place because Minecraft proper does a great job, similar to Fortnite, of creating a metaverse of IP. There are Mario, there's Ghostbusters, there's Ninja Turtles, I think, there's Master Chief. I would love to see Microsoft do a better job at showcasing itself within itself. Why is Doomslayer not an armor set in Halo Infinite? Right? Like, that's a thing that could be happening more.
Yeah. They could easily do a Halo Master Chief power armor in Fallout 76.
Exactly.
And stuff like that. Yeah. Having Minecraft Dungeons hit 25 million players who've played it. That to me is really awesome, just to know that Game Pass is doing what it's intended, which is to build a library for folks who, most likely probably won't buy every single title that comes out. And just know that, it's a really good game for fans of action RPGs like Diablo and stuff. And that, it's accessible there, and it's great for kids. It's great for, there's actually a Sightless Combat who goes through and plays it and is able to do really well on it because of some of the abilities that you can get in there. Because you can just teleport to people when you're lost, and that's great for someone without sight. So really awesome that they're hitting 25 million. I would like to see a sequel to that and have them build out the story or build out the worlds, go some other places and do some new stuff, especially given some of the stuff that we've seen with like the Pillars team and the Diablo 4 team and what they brought to the table. I think a Dungeons 2 could be served from learning some of the new lessons that we've seen with some of the new titles in the top-down isometric kind of ARPGs.
I'm inclined to agree, but I thought that's just a really cool milestone to know that Xbox hit. I agree with what you're saying about Xbox Game Pass doing what it needs to do. And Game Pass is right for a certain type of game as well. Like Gotham Knights just hit Game Pass. That's the right game for Game Pass.
I'll jump into it then.
It's a great candidate for Game Pass because it is a very good game. Like I am a fan of it, but I had to make peace with that it wasn't Arkham. But this allows people to get in, try it out, play it before it gets grindy. Like you can play a great action story there, and then if you don't want to grind, you don't have to grind. No harm, no foul. You're in Game Pass.
Yeah, if you want to be in photo mode with Batgirl, that's it's there now.
That's
sorry.
I don't know where you got that idea.
I had to bait you into that.
No, hey, come on. So let's go into another topic here. This one is, I think, a bit of a downer, and it ties into two different stories. And in our notes, I kind of split them by accident. But Epic Games has laid off 830 people, or roughly 16% of its company. Two different pandemic era company acquisitions were hit quite a bit by this. It got rid of two of them, Bandcamp and Super Awesome. That was about 5% of its staff there. Epic CEO Tim Sweeney explained the necessity of the cuts in an email to staff, and I have a hard time with that word necessity. He says, for a while now, we've been spending way more money than we earn, investing in the next evolution of Epic and growing Fortnite as a metaverse-inspired ecosystem for creators. I have long been optimistic we could power through this transition without layoffs, but in retrospect, I see that was unrealistic, end quote. And boy, do I have a beef with that, Logan. GamesIndustry.biz noted that it's odd that Fortnite is growing right now, but they're saying that it's growing because of user-created content versus Epic creator content, and Epic has a need to share this revenue with creators. Now, my personal take on this is that it's very frustrating to see Fortnite, which is its cash cow, growing, and to see them continue pushing things like Epic Game Store, which have a very low adoption rate. They're paying developers out the wazoo for exclusive and free game content, which I appreciate them paying developers for, but no one's utilizing it, and people are losing their jobs as a result of it. They're also raising the cost of V-Bucks next month, which is wild to me given how much they do. Like, there are so many ways in my mind, outside looking in, that they could have managed this better. I think about I think it's Mediatonic, the creators of Fall Guys.
Yeah.
They were
hit cuts.
Yeah, huge cuts for the creators of Fall Guys. And they were acquired 2 years ago by Epic and then made free to play. So frustrating. And they also had the Fortnite effect of getting tons of skins that they paid for into their game to create another metaverse element thing. And I appreciate that. I appreciate crossovers. I just said that in a previous topic. But the idea that Epic Games needs to lay off this many people while making money in Fortnite, while raising the cost of V-Bucks, while getting an influx of users in the wake of Unity's problems, they're getting an influx of users and developers for Unreal, is mind-boggling to me. And it shows to me it's bad business run. And I think Tim Sweeney's up his own ass a little bit in this one. Sorry, Adam, I know you have kids in the car. My bad. Love you, Red Beast.
It's one of these things where there's a cognitive dissonance between the what we see and the words spoken to us. They're smiling while lying, and it doesn't feel good. It doesn't feel good at all. Like, obviously, I don't know how that company's run. I don't know like all the details to it, but I know that there's places you probably could have cut stuff, or like, had, instead of like putting out free games, maybe not put out so many free games. Maybe take a look at like why Rocket League is potentially losing viewership or something, and work on that, as opposed to cutting the payroll on studios. Like, those studios aren't going to benefit from losing people. That's not how that does not seem. I mean, and it's not like they got to choose. They didn't, it wasn't like drawing straws or something. They're just like, nope, these positions are cut. Why? Well, we're not making enough money.
I'm sure a listener can help me out on this, but I remember at least two games that struggled and had to either close or go back into beta or something akin to that, because
the Warner Brothers. the Brawl.
I know that's multiverses, but
Yeah.
I'm thinking of something different. I'm thinking of Epic Game Store exclusives
Oh.
that were supposed to be like live service projects, but they failed to generate an audience because the Epic Game Store audience is too small.
Mm-hmm.
That's a stupid decision. If you're going to have a PC version of your game, let Steam users take advantage of it, because otherwise, if you're making a live service game, you live and die by your community. So I'm just very frustrated to see this happen, and I think you're making a different point with multiverses, which I'd love for you to expound on. But I'm just frustrated by like Epic. You're Epic Games. You are Epic Games. There was a better you bought the Fall Guys creator and forced it to be free to play. Maybe they had that plan already, maybe not. But now you're cutting their jobs. Like, you bought them and broke them. That's not fair. That's awful.
Yeah, it's one of those situations where I just don't understand, like, why they didn't see this coming. Like, why did it get to the point where they're like, oh, we need to lay off 60? And why is it like always around this time that we start to see all these major layoffs? Like, is it just because it's like the start of a new quarter and they want to see profits going into the end of the year? You know, is it because they've released the games that they've been working on for years, and now that they've released them, they get to cut people because those jobs are not, you know, needed until the launch of, you know, like I've seen a lot of social media jobs get cut recently on X, and I'm just like, you know, you could still pay those people to do stuff. Like, just because the game's out doesn't mean you can't have those people transition to a more live stream system where they're showcasing, talking about the game, doing updates, you know, talking about little things here and there that they could do streams for every week, and just have, like, you know, what is it? Obsidian. They have social community teams and devs that come out every week and do charity streams.
That's awesome.
That's awesome, dude.
That's
like awesome. EA, you want some good press, start having your studios, you know, find those community managers who don't got a lot to do because the game's out, or, you know, the game's not out yet and they don't have anything to talk about. Have them start doing charity streams, you know, put some goodwill behind you.
Very, very frustrating to watch. Very frustrating to see people lose their jobs. And I think it ties to a bigger issue, Logan, and that brings me to like live service games. There is a consistent and frustrating thing that I'm seeing, is that live service and always online are forcing studio closures or damning games into poor launches as a result of it. Let's see. Okay, so in the past week, 2 weeks, Payday 3 came out and servers were an absolute mess. It's just more Payday, which was what people seem to want, but then they're not able to play it even if they're trying to play solo by themselves on their local, because the game needs to be always online and servers are a mess.
Yeah.
The game Party Animals, which is getting an Ori and the Will of the Wisps Blind Forest crossover, was this hugely expected, very, very exciting game for a lot of people. It's one of those what is it, like, I don't know, ragdoll physics type brawlers.
That's a great way to call it.
Yeah. It looks really fun, especially if you're into that kind of game. But in the description, they said it was available like single player couch co-op as well as multiplayer online. But their reasoning was, hey, we don't speak English as a native language. You have to be always online with it. And they worded that poorly. So it's getting torched by users who expected to be able to buy the game and play the game without having to be online. You know, play with their spouses, their significant others, whomever it may be, kids on their couch, but they have to be online. That's very frustrating. And I think that is that we see Evil Dead closing. Sega just canceled an upcoming project, Hyenas, which means jobs are being lost. That was a PvPvE shooter that was being made by Creative Assembly.
Yeah, but that one, like I could see like there was a little bit of chasing the you know, the golden goose on 100%. Hyenas.
100%. That's kind of my beef, though, is like Jim Ryan was working on creating a Sony that was chasing a golden goose of live service always online. Sega in Hyenas was doing the exact same thing. There's a finite amount of space for always online games. CSGO just came out of beta or got its sequel or Counter-Strike 2 or something like that.
Yeah.
That is an aberration and an outlier. You can't mimic that. They launched to over 1 million players in like an hour or something like that.
Yeah.
But that's Counter-Strike, right? You can't all be chasing the always online element. It is an outlier that Sea of Thieves is successful, right? Like that is a strange, unique. The only way to be always online and survive, I think, is to have an attraction point, and that means uniqueness. I'm really curious if Square Enix has learned this lesson in the wake of Final Fantasy. I'm really curious if there are other ways that other parties are, because not just, I think it was Evil Dead is closing. That's always online.
Asymmetrical horror games are dying like they're fruit on the vine, man.
Mm-hmm.
You cannot put a horror game, asymmetrical game, and hope to compete against like Hunt and Dead by Daylights. Like it's that market is tapped, in my opinion. Man, I feel so bad for Evil Dead, especially considering Evil Dead is one of those IPs that it nailed the IP so well, kind of like Ghostbusters, Spirits Unleashed. Like those two games.
Yeah.
And Ghostbusters Unleashed is a small pool of players. Like you're getting bots in those matches, and it's getting a Nintendo Switch release soon. And I'm hoping for fresh meat in that, because that's a game that I really do love. That game, that is a fantastic asymmetrical horror game that is not really horror related, but it's fun to run around as a Ghostbuster and try and catch a ghost. And it's fun to be a ghost and just mess with Ghostbusters that don't know what they're doing, you know? But like Evil Dead, that is an amazing game. I don't have to play it to know that it is an amazing game. It's not just one of those, PlayStation 2 IP driven games. And to see that get shut down, it's like there's something going on with just games as a service, and they've got they're on a ticking time bomb. Sea of Thieves, you brought up, there was 2 years of Microsoft or Xbox support on a game that could not monetize itself until 2019, after it came out in 2018. It was almost a full 2 years that the game was living off of Game Pass, when no one wanted to pick it up because there was quote unquote no content.
It's disheartening and worrisome, and as the games industry becomes more, I guess, more mobile with cloud gaming, with 5G, with games being able to more easily access the internet, curious how the new Switch impacts this, curious if the new PSP impacts this at all. I would know, because it's like you got to be in the house kind of thing, like so strange. But I'm curious how that tends to happen. So I'm really sad to see all this, I guess, contraction in the industry, but it's disheartening. I don't know that I have more of a thesis on that, but it is disheartening to go through.
I'm seeing 2 examples of good and bad behavior in this that I want to end on. Sony is moving towards games as a service now. They have acquired Bungie to help with that. That is a painful move. They should not do that. They should focus on more multiplayer, not games as a service games, and single player games that they do really, really well. Ubisoft, on the other hand, has been making games as a service through their single player games, and it has been just one of those weird things where people just don't want that. They don't want those types of games from Ubisoft, and Ubisoft is pivoting back to making their games more smaller one-offs with like a main story. Assassin's Creed Mirage being the first in this, compared to Assassin's Creed Valhalla and Odyssey. Like, we are seeing them turn the corner to go back to single player experiences. I'm hoping that Sony kind of stays the course and just, like Ghost of Tsushima is still one of the best games Sony has put out in the last generation. Its multiplayer came free after the initial launch of the game, and it's one of the best multiplayer experiences you can get from a first party IP that they have. Just do that. That's all.
Agreed.
People just want factions. Just give them factions.
So agree. Game Pass, of course, having a great month in September, an even better month upcoming in October. I do want to call out Cocoon, which came out on September 29th. That got incredible reviews. This is like a a layered puzzle platforming game, isometric. Eurogamer 5 out of 5, Games Radar 5 out of 5, IGN 9, God is a Geek 9, Total Biscuit 9, Game Rant 4.5 out of 5, Push Square 9, Press Start 9, Xbox Era 9, Game Informer 8.8, Open Critics at a 90. Critics recommend, 95% of critics are recommending this one. Rock on. I think this is really cool to see. If you are not into some of the AAA stuff that's come out lately, like Starfield, if you're not looking forward to Forza, the indies seem like they're taking care of you, and Game Pass is taking care of you, which is, I don't know how much else to say about Game Pass. Like, it's so good.
It's nuts. This has been an amazing one for that. If you don't have anything else before listener questions, I did want to make one call out. For the Xbox. Xbox is changing their capture policy. So I just want to, this is more a PSA than anything. I don't really have much to say other than it's like, I'm glad that they're doing something, because I was worried about how they were going to do this. But there's a new policy for storing game captures going on. As of this recording, they're updating the way that Xbox network retains game captures. Game captures stored on the Xbox network will be deleted after 90 days or 3 months. So if you want to back up any clips or screenshots you wish to keep indefinitely, you'll have to go to your OneDrive. You'll have to set it up so that you can actually have stuff being retained on OneDrive, or you'll have to pull them off the like immediately off of the cloud. And there's a couple other ways that you can do that, but you can move and manage like bulk uploads where you store your captures on Xbox. You just have to go to the My Games and Apps, see all apps and captures to be able to do that. Just want to make sure that you guys are aware of that. They did put in some tools like Microsoft Clipchamp video editor for PC, so that if you want to be able to like edit some stuff, that'll be a way to go about it. And with the console app being defunct on PC, OneDrive is going to be the best way for you to be able to pull captures from your Xbox to your PC to be able to edit those and stuff. So just a little PSA, heads up, 90 days for captures. If you got something that if you want it, make sure that you log in, look at what you have, try and get it on OneDrive so you can save that for later.
Fantastic. I use my captures app often. Like I capture stuff and I download it on my phone a lot. Put out a lot of like YouTube shorts, or just put it up on the dying platform that is Twitter, which our engagement's gone on Twitter, man. Like I
don't tweet my podcast things anymore, man, because it just doesn't move the numbers.
It doesn't even get views. And our YouTube platform, like I'm grateful to every listener we have. Audio listeners, you're always showing up. You're always great to see that, and I appreciate you. YouTube numbers are down because I used to get that influx from X, from Twitter, like social media. That was where the YouTube audience came from. They would see my tweet and they would go, and that was how. And so like that's been an interesting change. So
what we're saying is we're going to Facebook.
Facebook gaming. Hello everybody. I was on Mixer. That's how it goes.
Oh,
I miss Mixer.
That's sad.
But I don't miss streaming, weirdly. So all right, we have some listener questions here. I'm excited for this one from Ellery, who, shout out to Ellery. They put up a really fun YouTube unboxing of Vasco from Starfield. I love their channel. It's so much fun. Ellery says, I can't believe October is almost here. What are your favorite spooky or horror games? I have a lot of answers for this one. I love spooky games, Logan. Yeah. I don't necessarily love horror games. I think those are two different things. Oh. But do you have answers prepped for this one, or do you want me to go first?
I kind of answered the one that I did. Dude, if it's Ghostbusters, I'm sold. Like the new Ghostbusters game for VR, for Meta and PSVR 2, like I'm going to be playing those. I wish it was on Xbox so I could have like, my achievements and whatnot. But Ghostbusters Spirit Unleashed is hands down one of my favorite games that's an asymmetrical game. And I usually don't go for asymmetrical games because I get anxiety about being the one person singled out and chased after. Really? Yeah, dude. Anxiety is a real pain in the butt, man. Like my wife deals with it, but I didn't realize the more I get older, the more I realize like how I actually have that. How and one of these days I'll actually go talk to a doctor if I actually trust them, see if they can help me out with it. But yeah, the more I play like asymmetrical games, the more I play like PvP games, I'm like, it depends on the game, but I can't do spooky. I can't do horror. I definitely can't do horror, dude. I'm in that part with the alien stuff in Starfield that we'll
I
probably
told
talk
you it was
about.
a horror game.
Yeah, there's a horror
Remember?
game aspect in there that I didn't
Yep.
realize. Dude, it's so hard. It's so freaking hard.
Did you see? I put up a really good YouTube short when the game first came out of a horror moment where something came out of the ground that I was not ready for.
Oh yeah. I'm
Dude.
there. I'm doing that now. Yeah, but yeah, it's it's a hard to. It's the sound. If I mute it, I feel better, but a lot of it is the sound drives me nuts. I get so anxious about that. But yeah, Ghostbusters, man. Everything else I'll watch. I can't play, but those are like my favorites. Go play Ghostbusters Spirits Unleashed, man. That is such a good game.
It is a good game. Shout out to CJ and Mike, because we've had some good Ghostbusters moments with that one. I love spooky. I love horror to a point. I don't enjoy jump scare horror. That's not fun for me. I think it's cheap. I think jump scare horror is pretty darn cheap. I don't enjoy horror where it's the like gore porn. That's not fun for me. Saw, Hostel, but I really love spooky, and I really love so ridiculous. It's unbelievable. Like I can do Scream, I can do Halloween, I can do
slashers.
Yeah, I can do that stuff as long as like the goal isn't to show you all the awful things that can happen. So in terms of games, spooky is my favorite. Pumpkin Jack is a game I love. Pumpkin Jack.
Remember you talking about that last year?
Great. Yeah, I love Pumpkin. I think everybody should play Pumpkin Jack. It's such a fun game. I really enjoy the Resident Evil series, particularly the third person ones. For people like you, Logan, you can play the third person ones, I think, far easier than like Resident Evil 7, where it's first person and survival style, like where you're getting like
so
freaked
hard.
out. I do think you can totally handle the majority of Resident Evil 8. I think
I played a little bit of it, and it wasn't too bad. There's definitely a couple moments where I was like getting a little messed up by it, but yeah, it wasn't too bad.
So Dead Space remake was wonderful. Resident Evil 4's remake was wonderful. Dead Space is like one of those where it's not spooky, but it is scary.
Yeah.
And spooky to me is an atmosphere. I love the dark woods with the fog and the monsters out there. Again, unbelievable is good for me in horror. I don't enjoy the jump scare type stuff. I'm playing a game called Army of Ruin right now, which is just a Vampire Survivors-esque style game. And I love it because it's Halloween. It's just there's a Halloween vibe to it.
Yeah.
Halloween's my favorite holiday. I love that. I'm looking forward to when Fortnite brings the pumpkin characters so I can get one of those. I like that stuff.
Yeah. I've Phasmophobia is one that I hope comes to console soon, because I would love to play. I would love to actually play that. Oddly enough, the Ghost. I don't know about you. I love Nuke's Top 5. If you don't know Nuke's Top 5 for YouTube, it is like a top 5 channel of like ghost videos. I am such a sucker for ghost videos, dude. I know they're all fake. I don't care. I love watching what people are trying to do to make like fuzzy, weird objects in a camera look real. Or, oh, there's a sound down a dark hallway and I happen to be in a really quiet an abandoned hospital in the middle of, Maine or something. With my phone and a couple cameras, and it's just like, it's like like Blair Witch, man. It's like I'm a sucker for that. So I love watching that stuff. But I would love to have Phasmophobia because that's kind of in that vein. I was watching. There's some really good horror games on PC that they're just small indie titles. So there's not enough people to really like get things ported over to console, or there's not enough like groundswell or funding to be able to get access to that. But there's a lot on PC that I see streamers do that I love to watch because I'm good watching it. I can't play it, but yeah, Good question though. Good timing on the question.
I do the thing where in games, Logan, like when I was playing Sea of Thieves, all my stuff would be Halloween themed.
Yeah.
When I played Gears of War, I'd use the Halloween themed characters. That's what I'm saying. Like with Fortnite, I want the pumpkin ones. I love that. I love spooky and Halloween a lot. Horror and violence, no, not as much. So let's see. We have one more question here, and I love this question. This one came in last week from Butch, who you enjoyed some State of Decay with, a great spooky game as well.
Yeah, spooky game. I was State of Decay too. It was really fun.
Yeah, if you at night, so if you play at night with somebody, go out at night and get in cars where the headlights are lighting stuff up. Yeah, this is good. And he says, if Microsoft would approach Luke and Logan and say, we're going to make an official XEP game, design it, and get back to us, what would the game be? What genre? What developer? Let's stay within Xbox first-party studios. Certainly no shortage of options there. Would there be any unique gameplay or story beats? Would Logan be a pirate lord with a special flare gun ability? Great show, guys. Keep it up. Love Butch 4969. I know what game I'd make, but do you know which one you'd make?
Oh, yeah.
All right. So hit me. You go first.
Oh, I get to go first. Okay. All right. Well, Butch, thank you for your question. If Microsoft approached us to make a Luke and Lohr XEP game, this would be it would be it'd be a romance visual novel. You would have to figure out what our likes and our dislikes were for games and just like pop culture to try and romance us. And I would have Obsidian do it, and I would have the team that did Pentiment. I would have them do it just to see what the art would be like. It would be the dumbest thing. It would be like the KFC visual novel that came out a while ago. I'm doing this for the laughs, dude. I'm doing this because I knew what you. It would blindside you so much. Oh, so tell me what your game was going to actually be, because you were thinking an actual action game.
Let me tell you how stupid I am. I created this brilliant game in my mind. I was like, this is what I'd do. It'd be so cool. And you're like, it's a visual romance novel. And yours is absolutely going to be the one people want to play. God. Okay. So mine, you are playing in a New York or Gotham City-esque third-person action game layout at night. You've got orb collecting similar to Crackdown. Your character levels up as you collect different collectibles around the city. And every time you level up, you eat a double down, which is part of your collectibles. You collect lore, spelled Lohr. That's all podcast lore around the city. Sometimes it's comic books about various things that we like. Mm-hmm. Sometimes it's various moments where you interact with different characters that give you quests. Your character is just like in Fortnite, any number of skins from the various IP that we love, right? And they fight certain ways. So like if you're a Ninja Turtle, you got your turtle sword, your turtle chucks. If you use the gargoyle skin, like Goliath, you can fly certain ways. You can battle with certain character skins. The main antagonist is Joseph Moran, and he's chasing you and shouting out his Patreon and his YouTube channel at any given moment.
Calling your mom to...
Yeah. And if you go into certain buildings, it becomes a horror game where where Joe just chases you like... which is crazy. At any given point, you can call on a mech. It'll be like prepare for Titanfall, but it drops in, and you get a mech that you can walk around the city in as well. Battle giant Joseph Morans, which is cool. If you go into the sewers as a Ninja Turtle or a gargoyle or whatnot, one of the traversal methods in the sewers on the water is a Sea of Thieves ship, which is pretty darn cool there. And I'm trying to
It's
think.
a
Oh,
ship.
yeah, it absolutely is. And if at any point anybody wants to play it on the Switch, we just laugh at them and say no. We just laugh at them and say no.
That's hilarious.
Yeah, but it's definitely a third-person action game with collectibles at night. You're double downing. You're collecting lore on all the things that we like. It releases for PlayStation and Xbox. It does not release on the Epic Games Store or the Switch.
That's funny. I thought you were going to say it was going to release on PlayStation, but when you open the game, it just takes you to the Microsoft store to download to buy a console.
Oh, and the name of our game is Redfall 2. That's what we call it. That's what we call it.
If I could tweak that game, I would have it be like City of Heroes and like Kick, where the in the movie they have like kind of the kind of crummy costumes, and I would have you playing. I would have the person playing as one of us. They get to choose between the two, and we would have shoddy cosplay costumes of our favorite characters, and each one gives us a different ability. So like I've got really badly made like PVC pipe with fabric wings as a gargoyle, and you have like your second rate kind of Batman costume. And our goal is to go out and try and get as much lore for an episode of the episode as possible, with Joseph trying to sabotage us at every end.
But okay, so, and to add to that, at any given point, or like at various moments, like if you go to a certain section of the city, you'll see the real Batman. He'll be like disgraced with us, be like, "I'm not wearing hockey pads," or we meet the real a real Captain Hook, like a real pirate, and he's just like, "You're not a real pirate." And then like every now and again, we'll be like, Phil Spencer, do you want to be on the show? And he's just like, no.
Phil Spencer's like the elusive secret character that you have to try and find.
Please let us interview.
If you land certain secret characters for the podcast, you get level ups or extra perks or something like that. That'd be hilarious.
I got a really nice email from somebody at Xbox, because I was trying to get someone on for episode 200, because this is the worst time of year for me. So like you've seen interviews have kind of stopped. Creative talk has slowed down because I don't have the bandwidth to chase, and then I'm going to a funeral next weekend. Like I just don't have it right now. And I got a very nice email from somebody at Xbox that works with creators. He was just so cool. He's like, "Hey man, congratulations. We're really proud and happy for you. Our bigwigs are tied up right now, so we can't accommodate your schedule, but next year." I was like, "Oh really? Cool." It was nice. It was a very kind email. So
that's awesome. That's really cool. I don't know what I don't think I'm doing anything special for 300 for Keelhauled, because that's in like 5 weeks.
And I feel bad because we just hit this incredible milestone. So like I'm not stressing, you know what I mean? Like we've got the community that makes us happy and is kind to us and supportive. I'm good.
It's cool to be able to hit like a certain number, but honestly, man, I'm just in it to continue to do the same thing. That I'm not trying to like celebrate my own dedication to this thing. Like I'm just here to keep doing the thing that I love to do, which is just chat about games and give folks something to make their day easier. Because like podcasts sustained my sanity for years as a pest control technician, walking around knocking down spider webs, getting bit, cleaning up after rats and stuff like that. Like podcasts saved my sanity during that time. So like now that I'm doing them, I'm like, this is all I want. I just want to make your day a little bit easier, knowing that you are not happy dealing with what you're dealing with right now.
See,
but I hope this helps.
I'm so similar. Like to me, like I've had the just difficult weeks, right? Working with kids can be really heartbreaking, their stories and stuff. Every morning to have "Good morning, XCP fam," and it means something every time, whether we get a code, don't get a code, the politeness that has come from people who are not expecting us to do the world. We're playing games and getting to talk about them with our friends and Discords, like jumping into the nerd chat or Project X Talks, just live stream and just saying hello. And they're like, "Hey, it's Luke. Hey, it's Logan." Like seeing you in chats that you and I didn't coordinate to be in together. We're just, there we are. Seeing you on the shop, like that stuff to me is worth so much more than an episode number or an interview number or even an interview guest, which is weird to say because like I got some dream guests. I got lofty goals there, but like the win is the community and the joy that comes from it. And sometimes I forget that and have to remind myself of my own lessons, but that's the real win.
Yeah. We'll get Barack Obama on the show one day. We'll get there.
Hello there. Barry says PlayStation games are too expensive. All right.
You went for it. I appreciate that.
Yeah. I'm rusty too. I'm rusty. I'm losing my voice. I'm losing my voice again.
Dealing with a migraine, folks. Come on.
Hey.
All right.
I'm pretty drugged up right now. Not gonna lie. All right. Well, that's going to do it for this week. Logan, let people know, I think you've already alluded to it, what's going on with Keelhauled at the moment and where to find you.
Yeah, guys. Sea of Thieves is getting ramped up for season 10 content that's coming mid-October. Just a couple of weeks away. They just launched the final tall tale for Monkey Island, The Legend of Monkey Island. If you like Monkey Island, you do not have to deal with other players. You can go into that content solo. You can go into that content with 3 other friends. It is online, but it's all free. You can just log into Game Pass and go into Sea of Thieves, choose adventure or not adventure. You can choose Monkey Island, get dropped right into it. That is, it really is like the magnum opus of Rare's Sea of Thieves. That content, I kid you not, is some of the best content Rare has made. And it is a point and click adventure that expounds upon the story and takes the story in a new direction that is canonical with the old Monkey Island games. But everything that they've done in that, I kid you not, if you like Monkey Island at all, you need to go play through the Sea of Thieves Tall Tales. There's 3 of them. It's about 10 hours worth of content. It's all available for free through Sea of Thieves. You just have to have Game Pass to get access to it. Or if you buy it, I mean, if you've bought Sea of Thieves at some point, you've already got access to it. So do that, enjoy it. Really, really love just like how they've been able to do that. So go check that out. Keelhauled will be talking about that as well as season 10 in the coming episodes with the lead up to episode 300.
There you go. Well, for XCP, of course, you're on it. Thank you guys. We appreciate you. You can find me on the socials at InsipidGhost. I'm so grateful to all of you for supporting our fundraiser for Extra Life. If you need to cancel, and I completely respect and understand that in the month of October. If not, your support is being put to good use. Please know that. So we really appreciate you guys. Logan, that's going to be it for us. Have a great week, everybody. Take care.